Okay guys, this is Em from R&M Homestead, and we're going to do a quick as possible garden update. I'm not going to show the lettuce garden and the herb garden because I've showed those this week, but we're going to go over everything else real quick and just show you what we're doing for the month of June. So far we have some hot Texas peppers planted here. We got some poblano planted here and some jalapeno. Those are doing pretty well. We didn't get those in the ground until I think 1 week before the last week of May, so they're doing pretty well considering that. We have our pole green beans that are starting to bloom actually. Those are looking pretty good. And then we got radishes that we just replanted and they're just starting to pop up again. We've got some beets, and then we've planted carrots and we're waiting for those to come up. And then we got all our tomatoes that are starting to put little tomatoes on there, as you can tell. There's one, but they're looking pretty good. We got lots of tomatoes, as you can see. We've got over here beefsteak and Italian. And then over here, I can't really remember, I think it's Roma that we got. All right in the middle, and then here on the right-hand side. But those are looking pretty good. Getting nice and tall. And then we got a row of garlic. First year doing garlic. We planted them last fall, and so I think they're getting ready to be harvested soon. I'm not sure. Like I said, this is our first time, so this is something new for us. And then we got all these cabbages. We've got green and purple. Our green ones are doing great. They're coming to head, so they're looking good. But for some reason, our purples, we never really get ahead from them. They form these little things and the rest is just leaves. So I'm not sure what happens to our purple. But we might not be planting those again if it continues this way. But our green ones are looking really, really good. And then we have a couple rows of peppers just because I had way too many peppers this year, so we just kind of filled them in where there was extra space. So we have lots and lots of different peppers. I'm not sure what is what because I kind of just mixed them as I was planting them. So I know we have a lot of bell pepper this year. We got some healthy, we've got jalapeno, we got some cherry, and I think we got some peppercorn. So they're kind of just mixed in here in different spots just to kind of fill in because we had way too many this year. So we have some that are doing very, very well. These on right here that I planted, we just recently planted, like I would say 2-3 weeks ago. So they're doing pretty good for just being planted into the ground. And then we got from here all the way to right about there, we have green beans and tiger beans. And then one other type of one row of white beans. I'm not for sure what they're called. I would have to look at the package again, but we were trying them this year. But they are all blooming pretty well. I know our green beans have the little purple blooms, but they are doing so well. So that's exciting. And then we got 5 more rows of peppers, or no, 4 more rows of peppers. Just all different types of peppers. We plan on doing a lot of salsas, a lot of pickling, a lot of different things you can actually do with peppers. And then our kids like to come out and just pick them straight off the vine, so, or off the plant, so that's exciting. See, they're starting to bloom also. Starting to get little peppers. And then right back here, we've got our eggplants, which we just planted them back here because we don't really have a lot of space for them. So we have a couple that are doing pretty well, and then we have some that are not doing as well. So we'll see what we get from that this year. Not everyone likes eggplants, so it didn't really matter if we got a lot of plants because only a few of us like them. And then we got a row of zucchini. And that usually does pretty well for us. We had a lot of plants come up, so we transplanted a couple where we would have had our yellow squash, but our yellow squash did not come up this year. And since it's too late to replant, we're just transplanted a few of the zucchini, which they died off somewhat. and then they're starting to come back again with their leaves. So I think we're gonna get a couple more on this side. See, they're coming back. So, but that's all just zucchini. So we're gonna have a lot of zucchini this year. And then back here we have rows of pumpkin. I think it's called Long Island cheese squash, but basically there are pie pumpkins, and they did so well last year. So we're excited to see what we get this year. And then we have a little bit, not a lot, of cantaloupe that came up. So we'll see how that does. I know last year we didn't get any cantaloupe because the couple plants we did have, the squirrels, chipmunks, birds, whatever, they ate all the leaves off, so we didn't get anything. So looks like we'll get something this year. I just don't know how much. And then we did have a row of butternut squash, but none of those came up. So we are just going to let the cantaloupe take over that space. And then of course we got some actual tomato plants I need to pluck that just came back from when we planted tomatoes over here like 2 years ago. So they're just coming back up. They continue to keep reseeding themselves. So, and then we got our cucumbers that are doing amazing. I think the pickled ones are these, and they're doing, no. Our pickled is actually the back ones this year, and they're not climbing as well yet. They're not getting as much sun. We might need to cut down a tree or something, but I mean, they are doing something. They're just not as big. But our regular cucumbers are doing very, very well. They are blooming really, really well. We've already got little tiny cucumbers, but as you can tell, lots of blooms. Lots of blooms. Then we've got our grapes that our first time actually planting these. We'll see how those did this year. Then over to the next garden, we have our peas that are starting to die off. It's getting hot on them. I think this whole week is going to be in the 90s, and I think they're about done. We'll see. There is still some peas to pick, but we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see what happens. And then we have our watermelon planted over here. The plants are still tiny. I think I still gotta thin them out a little bit more, but those are doing really well there. We got little watermelons also right here. And then last but not least, we have our potatoes and onion beds. Doing very well. We can't keep up with how quickly our potatoes grow. So we're constantly trying to make more compost, which we're still waiting on more compost. We did hear something about you could use straw, but we need to research that more because we're not sure on that method. And then we have some garlic in here with potatoes, which look how big that potato is. That potato's huge. We've got to fill in more compost here soon. And then we have our onions that are doing okay, I guess. It's our first year doing onions too. The bulbs, so we're going to see if we get anything from them. But if you have any recommendations for the onions or even the potatoes, if you guys think we could use straw or something else instead of just compost, because trying to keep up with compost is a lot. We still have our 3 beds that are cooking and that are not ready yet, so we're just waiting on that. So if you guys have any suggestions for that, just let us know. But yeah, that's all for our garden. We'll try to update once a month to show you how it's going, but that's all for June. Thank you guys, and I hope you guys have a great day.